Hi, and welcome to Queen of Self-Care. You're with Fanya. How are you doing today? I just wanted to check in with you, see how everything is going. I also really wanted to make this video because in the last couple weeks I had someone ask me, how do you implement self-care? Like, where do you start? I'm so stressed. I'm just done. I have nothing more to give and I don't know where to begin. And I tried to actually have a conversation with this person, and it was difficult because the stress had really overwhelmed the person I was having a conversation with, and they could not receive. We were able to de-escalate. However, I wanted to make this video because I do understand what it is to be overwhelmed, what it is to feel stuck, what it is to feel like, you're just done, you're through, you're just over it, right? And sometimes, we all just handle self-care differently. Sometimes we find ourselves isolating. Sometimes we find ourselves getting involved with way too many things. Sometimes we find ourselves just lashing out, right? Sometimes we get very quiet. And sometimes, we say nothing and we pretend that everything is peachy, and it's not peachy, and all you're doing is stuffing. And sometimes it feels like we're chasing our tail. We're giving out so much energy, we're giving out so much to other people, but we are not finding ourselves fulfilled. We're not finding ourselves happy. We're not finding ourselves at the end of the day complete. And that takes a toll on us. I do want us to remember that our bodies remembers the stress that we have, the trauma that it intakes, the abuse that happens when we neglect ourselves, okay? So listen, if you are ready to take that step to love yourself, to put yourself first, to provide yourself some nourishment, some self-care, this video you gotta stick around for. This video is for you, okay? And I want to emphasize that sometimes, yes, it is a radical change, and we're gonna change everything all at once, and some people are really good at that. Kudos to you. And sometimes we just need to take a step. We just need to change something. If we could change one thing for a week, if we could change, and then keep that track and then try something else, So sometimes it's the baby steps, right? So what I want to let you know is that change is going to happen, but it's going to start with you changing your mind about yourself and who you are, and about how you decide to love yourself, okay? So one of the most important things that we tend to forget when we are in our hustle and our bustle, and tending to husband, tending to partner, tending to loved ones, tending to dogs, cats, and everything else, okay? We forget to tend to ourselves. We are not providing ourselves some basic necessities like sleep, like nourishment, like eating, like drinking water, like slowing down, like making it a point to break away, or sometimes to join in, depending on what your balance is, right? So let me start with this. Do these simple things, okay? First, I want you to think about your sleep. I want you to think about When was the last time you got your full 8 hours of sleep? Okay? Yes, some of us are sleeping a lot more than 8 hours, and that's good, but how many days are you sleeping for way more than 8 hours? You want to think about that. Maybe you need to start setting that schedule to think about your motivation to get up and get out of your bed and doing something different, okay? But sometimes what we are doing is we are lacking sleep. So I want you to go ahead and think about your sleep schedule, and are you getting quality sleep? Are you getting your full 8 hours? How many times are you waking up during the night? Okay? And if you find that to be a problem, I want you to write that down. Okay? If you're finding that you're sleeping way more than you need to be sleeping, and you're finding yourself waking up at 11, 12, 1 o'clock, okay? Or, you're just having 10, 11, 12 hours of sleep and you're lacking motivation, I want you to write that down, okay? The next thing, I want you to think about how much water are you drinking, okay? How much water are you drinking in a day? Are you getting the amount that you need? Are you drinking at least 8 cups of water? Are you drinking too much caffeine, too much coffee or sodas or whatever else it is, okay? And not enough water. If that is you, I want you to write that down. Okay? Give you a little time. Write that down. What are you eating? Are you getting enough greens on that plate? Are you getting a full balanced meal? Are you eating out on the day all the time? Are you taking lunch to work? Are you eating out all the time? Are you cooking dinner? Are you cooking quality meals? What are you doing? Okay? Because sometimes what we are not doing is nourishing our body. All of those different fast foods, hey, once in a while, I get you, because on the run is on the run. Sometimes, work is crazy and it's like, okay, let me just go snatch something really quickly. Okay, and when you are snatching something really quickly, you can still try to make it a positive meal, okay? Trying to make sure it's something that nourishes your body. But if you are having an issue with eating a good meal, okay, a meal with some greens on there, meaning your vegetables, okay, some good proteins, I want you, and some good carbs, I want you to write that down. Go ahead and write that down. What about movement? Are you moving enough? Are you finding yourself stuck at work and you've been working your 8 hours, 10 hours, some people 12 hours, and you really haven't had an opportunity to go for a walk or anything like that? Or are you just stuck, at home, or, but you're just not in the mood to get active? And you're not exercising, you're not going for walks, you're not going for a run, you're not doing any at-home exercises. If that is you, I want you to write that down. Go ahead and write that down. Okay? Now, I want you to think about your breath. Okay? Are you finding yourself talking like this? Or talking like this, or talking like this? Is your shoulders up here? Okay? Let me know. If so, I want you to write that down. Okay? Are you in such a rush where you're not aware of what's happening in the moment? What about even when you're about to eat? Like, you just like, okay, dinner, scarf it down, right? If that is you, I want you to write that down. What about how you feel? What about how you truly feel? Are you ignoring it? Are you neglecting it? Or are you just like lashing out, and if someone says, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. But everything is wrong, right? Or you just can't pinpoint it? Are you just isolating, depressed, sad, lonely? If that is you, I want you to write that down. If you're happy, if you're doing well, if you are finding yourself in gratitude, if you're finding that you can you know, put your irritable stuff to the side and you can still find ways to find joy, I want you to write that down too. That's important. What about your hygiene? Are you quickly taking showers? Are you quickly just going in and out? Is your household clean? Is your workspace clean? Is you finding clutter everywhere you are? If so, I want you to write that down. Okay, now if you wrote any of these things down, you need to practice self-care. And this is where you start. Okay? You're going to start with your sleep. You're going to start with your eating habits. You're going to start by hydrating. You're going to start by being real with yourself and your feelings. You're going to start by your cleanliness. You're going to start by having some mindfulness and practicing mindfulness techniques, such as journaling, such as taking deep breaths, such as meditating, such as praying. Okay? This is the time. All of these things do not take up your whole day. It does not take up all of your space and time. You need to start feeding yourself these things. And if you are not getting enough sleep, the first thing I do want you to do is to drink some water and go to sleep. Get your rest. If you are having issues with sleep, you need to see a sleep therapist. You need to see your doctor and go see someone about a sleep study or getting, further help with your sleep. And otherwise, I want you to set the mood, okay, for wherever you're sleeping, in your room, wherever you are taking, not power naps, wherever you are going to sleep. If you can't, remove all electronics. You don't need to have a big TV and all that stuff in your room. Now, if you do, I know most of us do, then fine. But turn it off. Turn it off. Now, you want it to be as quiet as possible. You want it to be where what you do in that room is sleep. Sleep and sex is what you should be doing in your room, in your bedroom, okay? If you can, get one of those, if you need a little light, sometimes people don't like it completely dark. I would say a candle, but sometimes we fall asleep, we're going to have an issue. So they do have those little plug-ins. They have the salt light now. You can utilize that. I want you to spray some lavender on your pillow, okay? You have to start getting prepared for bed. Prepare yourself for bed. Set the mood. Take a nice hot shower, a nice bath. Utilize your senses by putting some smell goods that you love. And even if it's just like lavender, because it makes me feel good, makes me feel comfortable, makes me want to go to sleep, or whatever other scents that you like. You don't want to use like orange where it's going to get you all vibrant and going. You want things that's going to help you relax and calm, okay? If you need to do a little yoga, a little stretching before you go to bed, then do so. And guess what? You just hit two things: movement and you're getting ready for bed. So sleep, right? So these are some of the things that we can do to start implementing self-care. Your body must rest. Hustle and bustle is cool, but you must rest. You cannot give out if you are not pouring back in. And I don't care what anybody tells you. Okay? So when you decide to put yourself first and put your self-love and your self-care first, you will start with your sleep. You will also pay attention to your water intake. You will start putting those sodas and those energy drinks behind. Now, I'm not saying you got to cut everything out, but you want to make sure that you are getting enough water. Water is so healthy for us. It helps our brain. It helps us think. It helps us rejuvenate. It helps our muscles. It really does help our mind, our body, and our spirit. Okay, and also that helps with the decreasing of caffeine that we take, right? So because a lot of the sugars and the drinks that we have sugar, caffeine, and other things that hype us up, okay? So that's a part of being clean. That's a part of purifying our body. So I want you to take that step. Also, pay attention to what you are eating. Make sure you're eating some vegetables. Get those greens on that plate. We cannot be playing around. We have so many different issues with our hearts, our kidneys, our different diseases out there, and we can be protecting ourselves if we are eating healthier. Okay? Me and my girlfriends have these conversations all the time, and I'm telling you, sometimes I have to push back, but it's true. It's true that you got to eat healthy. You got to try to eat as many vegetables as possible and home-cooked meals as possible. That way, you know what's going inside, okay? Also, when we are talking about eating and being mindful, I want you to think about when you're eating. I want you to slow down. I want you to pay attention to your meal. I want you to have some gratitude towards your meal. We are in such an age and such a rush for everything, doing everything. We don't even realize, what we have consumed. So, what I want you to start doing is slowing down and being mindful about what you're eating. So a good way of practicing that is a quick prayer before eating, slowing down when you eat, thinking about, who cooked the meal and being thankful and showing some gratitude towards someone, whoever made the meal for you, right? These are certain ways that we can practice mindful eating. Now, getting moving, stretching, walking, running, at-home workout, weights, no weights, whatever it is you got to do. We just need 30 minutes to get moving. And if we can start doing 30 minutes a day, the better, okay? I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. The day can always spin us away from doing everything else except for our exercise, right? So, been there. Guilty. But I want us to really start putting our efforts toward exercising, getting moving. Now, those of us who are working all the time, I still want you to, even if you are at work, on your 15-minute break or whatever, get a coworker, get someone and go for a walk, okay? If you have, I don't know, some people have hour lunches. If you can do 30 minutes of a walk with your coworker and then go eat, or vice versa, you're winning. Just whatever kind of time you can give. Even if you're like, okay, I don't have 30 minutes in me today, I got 15 minutes. But do something. Stretch before going to bed, okay? Do something to give back to your body and get it moving. All right, now, the breath. Once again, this is a mindful action, and I want you to start thinking about your pace, okay? Your pace of your breath, because that tells you your stress level, okay? When you're finding yourself up here and, uncomfortable, and you can feel the strains in your back, upper, lower, all of that, you want to start doing some deep breathing. If you are finding yourself upset, do some deep breathing, okay? You want to also participate in some meditation or prayer or some guided imagery, just to give yourself some time to have away from all the clutter on the outside, okay? You want to reflect on your day. You want to be in the also be in the present, okay? That is important, to be in the here and the now. We have to be careful about being so worried about the future and so into the past, okay? When we are starting to worry so much about the future, we start building up all that anxiety. What if, how can I, all those questions. You can't control the future. You don't know the future. You're not a future teller, and you're not all knowing. In the present. Now, when you're in the past, it causes for depression, unfortunately. I wish, I would have, I could have, I should have. When you're doing all of that, you start to cause yourself some, it can lead to depression. So you want to make sure you're being in the present, the here and now, because that's what you can control. You can't control the past. It's done. You can't control the future. It's unknown. Here and now, okay? I want you to think about journaling. Please, I'm such a lover of journaling. In the mornings, I do my gratitude list. I write about how I'm feeling, and then I try to close out the day with how I'm feeling about that day, okay? And also writing your goals and things like that in your journal. That way, you're getting some of these things out of your head, out of your system, right? So it's not all stuck in your head, okay? And I want you to start acknowledging how you feel. Don't stuff. Do not stuff, okay? Acknowledge how you feel. However way you may need to do that. Well, if that's by writing how you feel, if that's telling your significant other how you feel, if that is telling yourself how you feel, yes, go into another room, look in the mirror and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is the honest truth on how I'm feeling about this situation or that situation. Okay? Or maybe it's not a situation. Hey, I feel lonely. I am feeling depressed or sad. You need to acknowledge it. Okay? You gotta check in with yourself. If you're not checking in with yourself, then all you're doing is neglecting how you feel. And you gotta do that because it's gonna come out. Either way it goes, okay? So sometimes that comes out in an irritable snap to, you know, the love of your life, to your child, to your coworker who didn't do nothing but ask you for a stapler, okay? So that's why you must check in with yourself. And once again, another way to do that is journaling. So, yeah, even if you just get a notebook, it doesn't have to be like this great old journal, $50 journal that people are selling nowadays. Get you a notebook and get to writing, okay? And computers now or whatever, if you feel better about typing, fine. If you're techie like that, fine. I still love the feel of paper and pen. Also, cleanliness, okay? Most of us are not focused. Most of us are not feeling well, are doing our best when we are not practicing good hygiene, okay? And I'm not just talking about showers or in the in the bathtub or whatever. If you wiped your butt or whatever. Sometimes it's our office that is just, ooh, it is a mess. You got stacks of papers, you got stacks of books over there, and all this, that, and the other. And you got to organize because you got to get focused, okay? Sometimes when you see that, it shows there is something wrong. Whether it's I'm overwhelmed and I am stressed, and I am stressed because of this pile of paper and this pile of books and this pile of to-do lists, okay? When we're at home, sometimes, yes, the kitchen isn't clean to the best of its ability. The living room is a mess. You forgot to pick up here and there, you know. Hey, because you have barely been at home in and out, and all you can do is just grab you something, eat, and go. Or maybe you have been home, but you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like it. You don't feel like moving. You don't want to put your energy in that way. Okay? Acknowledge that. It's okay. But start somewhere, okay? Because that shows us that we are depressed. It shows us that we are not at our best selves right now, okay? And that's okay, but it's okay to a point. You want to make sure that you are checking in with yourself, looking around and saying, hey, I usually have this kitchen done and clean. I need to get to this because I need to be able to clear space so that I can cook a meal, okay? So I can have a healthy meal. And sometimes when we start to declutter and start cleaning up, we are able to reintroduce some positive things into our lives, okay? No one wants to cook in a dirty kitchen. So that's why you're not cooking in your kitchen and you're going out to fast food or wherever else, okay? But when you start cleaning your kitchen, you're like, hey, let me whip up something here. I don't need to go out, and let me whip up something here, right? So I want you to go ahead and focus on these things. Now, it is up to you on how you want to organize and track your progress and how you are going to implement your self-care. You can always reach out to me at thequeenofselfcare@gmail.com or reach out to me on my website, queenofselfcare.com. I'm very responsive and I will help you with a tracking log if you need, or if you need help with any other ideas, or if you just still need help with how to implement self-care into your life. Please, I am the Queen of Self-Care, and I am a self-care coach, and I'm here to help you and to guide you and to cheer you on to make sure that you are giving yourself the love that you deserve, okay? You have to be able to give it to yourself. so that you can be whole and that you can pour out the love to others. You understand what I'm saying? Because when we are lacking that, it is going, we get drained. Yeah, it works for a little while, but we get drained and then we have nothing else to give. And we're definitely not giving to ourselves, okay? And this is why we are so overwhelmed. So please reach out. Never be afraid to ask for help. I am here. Once again, you can reach me at queenofselfcare.com, or you can just shoot me an email, the queenofselfcare@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram at the queen_selfcare. Okay? So I am so excited for your future. I'm so excited for you guys to start implementing some self-care, some of these tips, and, being able to actually be able to see the difference of how you feel from inside and out, and being able to understand and know the difference from when you're whole and when you are starting to feel a little drained. And I'm not saying that you'll never be drained again, but at least you know when I am irritable or when I'm feeling like this, I know I need to start paying more attention to myself. I need to be able to give more back to myself, okay? So, I wish you all well. Thank you for joining me.